Hello.
How's it going, boys
Hello
and
and
girls
welcome
and everybody else?
back to another Zompire podcast.
This is episode number 3 of
It
our
is episode
video
number 3.
podcast. That is, it's probably like number 12 or something of our altogether.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we've
We
had, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't really remember. Like, I'm all so bad about remembering, like, the episodes. Like,
Hey,
you remember
Melissa.
who's here? Who's here? Oh, yeah,
Melissa's here.
comments. I got to move the comments
Yeah,
because,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Ah, Melissa. Um,
Woohoo!
But I always forget to like look back. I'm just like, oh, it's got to be episode 3. But I do videos for, Josh and I did a video, and then I did a video for my other channel for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and so
Yeah,
I get a little scatterbrained and forget.
That's okay. We're going to talk about that a little bit today too, because I watched that last night. I forgot to tell you.
The Texas.
Yes, the new one.
Well,
So,
that's good because today's topic is Final Girls.
oh my gosh, you are so right.
In case
Holy
you didn't
crap.
know.
Final Girls, some of our favorite characters in horror movies, actually. And why
Yeah,
is that, do
definitely.
you think?
Well, I think it's typically they build the final girl up to be like the virgin or like, the one that's like morally good, and they make the ones around her seem, corrupt or morally bad. And so you kind of want them to die, but the whole time you're sort of rooting for the final girl. So
Right, right, right.
at least
And
that's the formula that we learned in Scream.
yeah, so like, how does that differ from like a final guy?
Oh, so like for instance, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which starred what's his name? Let me think of his name. Do you remember? He played
Um,
Jesse. That was a character's name. He was our first autograph ever in a box too.
was he?
Yeah. Now I feel like an idiot for not knowing.
He was in your box. Like, hey, you don't know
I've
what a
like
box
literally
is.
spoken to him in person. Facebook user,
Hey,
what's
what's up,
up?
Facebook user?
That's kind of a weird name.
I mean, you
No
know.
picture and your name's Facebook user. I have questions.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
it's Mark. Hold on. But yeah, wait, it's Mark. I'm looking it up because I like feel like an idiot.
It's
But his
okay.
name is
It's
Mark.
it's Monday. It's okay.
It is Monday. It's Mark Patton.
Mark Patton. That's
Played
right.
Jesse Walsh in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Had to do the glove thing.
Oh, I can put on my glove if you want.
I have one too. Actually, I have Freddy tattooed on my thigh. And it says,
Like,
welcome to prime time, bitch.
oh, nice.
I think I could show it without getting naked. Like, too naked.
Well, what fun would that be?
My arm's in the way. But yeah, I
Oh,
have it.
goodness. Goodness.
What's up, Facebook user?
Is that one of your
It's so
friends?
weird that you know who I am and I can't see who you are. Let's see the
So,
glove. Which glove you got? Is it the NECA, the metal one?
oh, it was this one.
Oh, okay. I think that's the same one I have. I have mine in a
Okay.
shadow box. Not
Mine just hangs on my wall with a bunch of other stuff that hangs on my wall.
well, since we're talking about Final Girls, and you just watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which as did I the night it came out, and then I rewatched it again the next morning to make sure I disliked it as much as I did. Which is
Well,
my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own.
well, this is why you are a huge fan. That's your favorite franchise.
It's true.
So you are going to pick everything apart with a fine-tooth comb because of
That's
that.
true. Yeah.
So,
Well, and if you were to call it a horror movie and just call it Dead, whatever dead name, whatever something. I'm trying to figure out who.
it's
Oh, it's
Derek.
Derek. I know
Hi,
who
Derek.
it is. Steelers fan, you son of a bitch. But if you just named it a horror movie and you took out that Leatherface was involved or anything related to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I wouldn't have been as bummed about it as I am the fact that they tried to, you know what I mean, make it
They
that.
they put the Texas Chainsaw Massacre name on it. I mean,
Right.
I enjoyed myself watching the film. It was fun to watch, but I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, the kill scenes
And
were cool.
yes, that was the best part. It's like I'm watching,
Yeah,
and then there's a wrist that gets broken in half. I'm like,
dude,
yeah.
and then he stabs him, dude. That was, I
And
guess,
then
spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen it.
well, then you guys should just all watch it. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. I was really happy with it. In the gore sense of it.
Yeah,
But there's just a lot to it. And one of the things, since we're talking about Final Girls, we need to talk about is how they did Sally Hardesty in that movie.
yeah.
Since it's Final Girls night, my opinion is a lot of people say that, like, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis playing Laurie Strode was the original Final Girl. And I think it's based on that being the first slasher. But, you know, really Marilyn Burns playing Sally Hardesty was got to be the first Final Girl.
Right.
And
Right.
for her to survive the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, the 74, everything that happened is a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and she
Hmm.
hasn't made a return to the franchise in the 6 movies since. Yeah, but overall was par. Yeah. I don't know what par means, because usually when it's on par, it's good, right? No,
Maybe he meant to rate subpar.
it was very subpar.
No.
And it's not a movie like I don't hate it. It's hard for as much anticipation of a next Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was just really let down as a fan of the franchise.
Well, because the hype, it didn't live up to the hype that was all around.
Well,
Um,
and quite honestly, if the parts that I hated were better, but they still did what they did to Sally, I would still hate the movie. Like,
yeah, let's
that's my
talk about
biggest.
that. Let's talk about that.
Well, you know, when you look at movies like I'm gonna have to grab my water at some point. When you look at movies like Halloween, you know, and Laurie Strode and Jamie Lee Curtis, she's been a staple in that franchise for so long, and they've like respected her
Oh
character.
yeah,
She made it through the tech, like through Halloween, dealing with Michael Myers, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, yes, please. I got a water delivery coming, so I don't have to
Nice.
stop. Thank you. It's my
Thanks, Angela.
that's my bubble A servant.
Excellent.
No, but I mean, like, you know, it's you don't see many of the, like, Friday the 13th, for instance, where Adrian King's character comes back 4 movies later and they just shit all over her character. You know what I mean?
Right, right. She would be more revered as a goddess
Right.
than that. So
And so just like, and then the way that the actress who portrayed Sally in the new movie, she didn't really capture Sally's essence. Like, Sally wasn't this like badass door kicking, pig gutting, you know,
yeah.
type
Well,
woman.
she became a ranger. So
Yeah, and I get it. She was hunting them and everything. I don't know. There's just a lot to like process when it comes to like how they got from 74 till now and the person she became. There was like
yeah,
zero
it was
in
hard to
between.
create the match. It was
Right,
really hard
right.
to link the two characters
And
to being the same character.
there's a way they could have. I mean, they certainly could have gone with like some maybe flashback type memories of her hunting for him, going back to the house and seeing the van and getting the Polaroid, which really shouldn't exist anyway because Hitchhiker burned it up before. Like, as soon as he took the picture, remember, he sits it in the tinfoil and lights it on
Yeah.
fire.
So how did that
So
come back? Was there like a copy made?
I don't know.
No.
Somebody told me they're like, it was an Easter egg. I'm like, no, an Easter egg is like something small, like in the new Halloween where they had those 3, the pumpkin, the skull, and the witch mask. Like, that's an Easter egg,
Yeah.
right? Like, bringing back a photograph that was burnt up in the original is not an Easter egg. I don't know where
No.
this guy, it bothers me. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah. Well, if it's supposed to be a sequel, it should, you know, be accurate.
Well, and the, you know, the term is canon. Be canon to the original. If they could have just attached some way, like for instance, like Leatherface's chainsaw and apron and tie being plastered into the wall, he would have been 75 years old I feel like this Final Girls podcast is becoming a fuck the new Texas Chainsaw
That's
Massacre
okay. That's okay. We can sprinkle Final Girls in. It's fine.
podcast. We're gonna sprinkle Final Girls in though this whole conversation, but yeah. So just how they kind of treated her as a character, you would never see a Halloween treat Laurie Strode in the same manner. You know what I mean?
Right.
That you just wouldn't. And so that's kind of like one of the things that bothers me most about that the new movie and how they've treated her as the original Final Girl. I felt like her, if you're gonna kill her off, fine, but she deserves to be killed off like respectfully, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right. Yeah. For
But
sure.
that's neither here nor there.
Who do you want to talk about next? Do you want to talk
Um,
about Laurie Strode?
well, Laurie Strode was I always found as a very interesting character. Obviously there's like debate on how or what her relationship to Michael Myers was, which I always thought was super interesting. Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacres have some of the most blurred, like you can't. None of the stories really. You have to like mix
There's
and
not
match.
really a lot of continuity. There's like loose
No,
ends and things like that.
but the cool thing is Jamie Lee and Laurie Strode, as a character, found a way to make it through them all. Like shit, she's still around in the last movie that just came.
Yeah. That's probably, I think she's probably right up there. I don't know if I could pick a favorite, but that's, one reason why she's one of my favorites.
I think that a lot of people look at her as kind of like the perennial screen, not perennial. I don't know if that's the right term, but like, like
Perianal.
but like, everyone thinks of her as like the biggest scream queen. And I think it's because of how many like horror movies and like I guess how many times she's played like a victim in a horror movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, specifically Halloween is the most.
Right.
But oh wait, so you can't really talk about Roseblood, right?
You mean Roseblood or Bloodlines?
Bloodlines. That's one that's being filmed now, right?
Yeah. We're going to talk about both of those next week on our broadcast.
That's true. That
yes.
is true.
Are we going to talk about Friday the 13th? Is that what you're
getting
at?
I thought about it, and the reason I was asking is because I know that I don't know if you'll have to help me out. So I don't know if it was Vengeance, Roseblood, or Vengeance 2. But one of them has like a lot of characters from previous Friday the 13th coming back.
They all do.
And I guess my question was, do any of the Final Girls make another appearance?
Well, I will tell you that
either as their character or another character.
Yeah,
but like
there's some alumni in there. Vengeance.
Don't get in trouble.
Was made a couple years ago. The first one, which Friday the 13th, was a fan film, did really well, and so they made Vengeance Part 2, Bloodlines, and brought some people back from. Basically, Bloodlines is based on Part 6, and then Roseblood is based on Part 7. So you've got Tina coming back.
Okay.
For Roseblood, you're gonna have to watch Roseblood tonight, I think. Roseblood is out, so you can, everybody can watch that.
2, that's Bloodlines, right?
Yeah, so that one is the one that's in production right now. It is supposed to be coming out in May. That's the target date, anyways. And that one is based on Part 6, and it's got C.J. Graham in it, who was Jason from Part 6. It has Tommy McLaughlin in it, who wrote and directed Part 6.
Right.
We've got Darcy DeMoss, who was Nikki in Part 6.
Okay.
So we've got a lot of we got Tamara Glenn, who was from Halloween 5. My mistake. I said Halloween 4 a couple of podcasts ago. My mistake. Sorry, Tamara. I know. But she is in Vengeance 2, Bloodlines. And they're just lots of fun surprises. So it's gonna be killer.
Yeah, so just since we're gonna obviously just started, so we have a lot to talk about tonight. But since we brought it up, next week's episode will feature Jason Brooks, who actually played Jason Voorhees in all 3 of those fan films we just mentioned.
And also he wrote and directed Vengeance 2.
Oh.
Bloodlines. So he's got his hands in all the pots.
I didn't actually know that, so that'll be cool, something cool to kind of talk to
Yeah,
him about
yeah, he
behind the
directed
scenes.
it. He did a lot of the effects. Came up with a lot of the costuming, um, set decoration,
Right.
location. Just he's
And don the mask too. That's not the most
yeah,
important
yeah,
aspect
yeah,
of it all.
exactly. And he makes a great Jason. He's like 6'5" or something. He's huge.
I think it was
So
two
it's like
years ago, maybe it was 3 years ago now at CryptoCon I met him, and he is big. He's as tall as, if not taller than CJ, isn't he?
um
He's got to be
I don't
as
know on
tall
that one.
as.
They're both big dudes.
Yeah, they're both very big dudes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That'll be exciting. I'm glad that we'll be able to talk to him and
Yeah,
get all the questions we have. And
yeah.
if for any are and both Vengeance and Roseblood are available on YouTube, aren't they?
Yes.
For free.
Yes. Yes, for
So
free.
everyone this week can go to YouTube, watch Vengeance, and watch Bloodline, or not Bloodlines, excuse me,
Yeah, Friday the
Roseblood.
13th Vengeance Part 2 Bloodlines and Friday the 13th Roseblood. They are both fan films and you will enjoy them very much.
Yeah, but Bloodlines is the one that's coming out. It's not out yet.
Yes, and I'm in that one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, when I was making the ad for next week, I actually found a picture of you and Jason Brooks as Jason, and I think you're kind of like leaning back like this or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it took me so long to like try to come up with like an image that visually I found acceptable, and
Right.
I tried so hard to use that, and I couldn't figure out a
Yeah.
way to fit everything in. But I was like, oh, it's so perfect because Michelle's already in it. I just got to plot myself in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Um, I will tell you that sadly, I was not a final girl in that movie.
You
Spoiler.
were you didn't make it.
I didn't make it. I didn't make
Well,
it.
so
So,
tell us what it's like to be on the other side then. So since we were talking about final girls, you weren't a final girl. Is it kind of like coming up second place at a beauty contest? Or I mean, how
yeah.
do you feel
It's
in the
like coming
moment?
up it's like coming up like 17th place at a beauty contest. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's super fun. I was doing makeup there too, so I was really busy. But it's just so fun being involved in all the different scenes and whether they're kills or not. It's super fun. It's a lot of work. It's not a lot of sleep.
Right.
Um, but the
Well,
experience was like it's once in a lifetime, and it was like something I will never forget. And I'm like supremely grateful for.
I thought too, if there's ever a time where we need to film someone getting their finger cut off, we can just make a fake little extension and boom.
Exactly. You
That'll
know
be
what we should have
perfect.
done is made a mold of your finger before you got it cut off 3 weeks ago.
Well, I'll have it in a jar in the next couple days, and so we'll be able
Yeah,
to
but it won't be the same because it will be like,
all swollen with juices.
well, it will the juices inside will have been replaced with like formalin or some other form of. My cat's trying to jump up. No, stop it. He keeps trying to. I've got peacock feathers up there, and he keeps trying to jump. He was beating up the other cat earlier, so he's being punished now and being stuck in a room with me. And he's like messing with everything. Knock it off! Freaking cats. So yeah. Um, oh, I was a final girl in a music video once.
Oh,
Yes, I was. The
was it
band
like a
is Murder Weapons, and they're from here, the Seattle area. And my friend Ticker, who was in a band called Cryptamnesia, I was also in another one of his videos, but he was a serial killer, and the song is called Serpent, Serpent, I think.
Could
Um,
you imagine being a final girl of a real life serial killer?
oh my god, dude!
That'd be so wild. Like if you were like the last chick that like Bundy was came after, but like
Yeah,
you got away and he got caught, and you're like, I'm the last one and I made it out, you know?
dude, that'd be so scary. I mean, it was scary just playing one, because
Oh, for
you're
sure.
screaming and you're laughing at the same time. Ah!
So would you consider, have you ever seen Sleepaway Camp?
Of course.
There is no final girl, right? Does she count as a final girl since she lived through the end?
I think she counts as the final girl because she lived to
Angela
the end.
Baker, I believe, was the character's
Yeah,
name, played
that
by
counts. I
Portia Lily.
mean, even if like there's been debate
The
about if you're a
brand.
final girl, if like somebody saves you and you don't, save yourself, or if you just like happen to survive or whatever.
Melissa Volan says, nope, she can't be the final girl because she's the murderer.
I
I
mean,
figure she's the one that made us get to the end.
hey,
Why not,
Brian.
right? What's up, Brian? Hi, Brian. Hi is joining us this evening, along with
Excellent,
Melissa.
excellent. How many people do you have on? I can't see. There's doesn't tell me.
It says 155. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish.
But so back to
Maybe
Final Girl.
we're
We've
probably super
gotten
boring.
Lori. What's that?
I said we're probably super boring.
Nah, they love us.
Oh, good. So yeah,
Uh,
Laurie Strode. Sorry.
so we got Laurie Strode. We got what were the two? What was so Adrian Peterson or Adrian Peterson? That's a football player for you.
Adrian King,
King
Amy Steele.
played Alice.
Yes, yes.
Amy Steele played
I love
Ginny.
her too.
Yeah, she
I
owns a
love her.
wine company.
Amy played Ginny.
Ginny's my favorite from the Friday the
Yeah,
13th.
Adrian played Alice.
Right.
But yeah,
The
Ginny's
boy.
character was
The
great.
boy in the lake.
Yeah, I love.
Didn't she?
That's Adrian.
Yeah, she died in the first one though. She never came back, right?
No, she didn't die. She died at the beginning of the second one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. There's so many similarities in all the movies too. They all have like a cool van or a Volkswagen Bug, and there's like always a cat, and there's always somebody always dies when they're shitting. Have you noticed that? Somebody's always dying, like in an outhouse or taking a shit or something like that.
Dude, that's literally one of my favorite Friday the 13th kills is when he's in the porta potty and he starts putting the fucking pole through it and shit. Dude, I love that kill. That one
Oh
and the
my
sleeping
God.
bag one. Obviously, everybody loves the sleeping bag kill.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that one's
when dude's in the
yeah.
porta potty, dude, it's so funny.
One that I laugh at every time just because I'm a horrible person is when the dude is like he's going down the stairs in his wheelchair and he's and it's raining and it's dark and I'm just laughing as he's dying and I'm like, oh my God, I'm a horrible person. It's not because he's in a wheelchair that
Right.
makes it funny. It's just like it's freaking hilarious.
So Melissa Volan brought up a good final girl, Heather Langenkamp, who plays Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah,
And she's actually go
she
ahead.
was in like 3 or 4 of them, wasn't she?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I know she was in the first one, and
And then
then
she came back again in like the third one.
is that what it was?
I think it was. And then I
Oh
think
yeah, and like
again like in the fourth one somehow.
no, then she came back again like after that when it was like she was filming a movie and like her husband was like a prop guy, and then like Freddy's glove came to life. Do you remember that one? I don't remember what it was
Yeah.
called.
Yeah. Which one is
I,
that?
I was never, to be honest with you, like I saw New Nightmare. Yeah, Melissa, you're right. Brian says Angela was a survivor through the bullshit she went through as a child with her aunt, actually, who's the one that was like a doctor or whatever that kind of turned him into her
Yeah.
to what was it like to kind of like because she always wanted a daughter. She had a son who was played by Jonathan Tiersten. I'm trying to remember the character's name. But she had a son and I guess always wanted a daughter. So when the family died and she got the little boy, she turned him into a little girl, which is pretty mentally fucked up. So yeah, she is a
Right.
survivor through that. I guess she is the final girl. You're right, Brian. Melissa may disagree, but I'm with you on this one.
um Speaking of Nightmare on Elm Street, um Lisa Wilcox, who was Allison, I think part 4
Yes. I
was
want
at
to say
Crypticon
she was
last
in
year.
3 and 4.
Yeah. She's so nice, dude.
So
I helped carry her stuff to her booth. She's just like super cool.
well, so when you and I met last year at Crypticon, finally in person, we were Facebook friends before that, but I tracked you down. I forced you to open my box, and we've been
that
best friends
sounded
ever since.
that sounded dirty, Vlad. He forced
Uh,
me to open his box.
I forced her to open my box. Um, but so when we met that time, the reason I was at Crypticon was we did a private signing with Lisa Wilcox, and we had Zompire does those license plates, and so we printed up like a movie poster from part 4 that she signed for us. So that's how we know each other. We can thank Lisa Wilcox.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa.
Which, speaking of which, I was speaking to someone today that is supposed to be a Crypticon that hopefully that private signing will get done, and it'll be a rad one. People will be blown away. I'm pretty
Yes.
excited about. We actually have. I know this is a side note to everything. We actually have some pretty cool autographs coming up. I'm really excited about. So,
Talk about them.
well, one is from a movie that well, it's kind of hard to talk about them because you don't. Brian High got the Lisa plate. Yeah, I actually have one too, and I kept one, and I usually don't. I always say this that I usually don't get our autographs. I usually don't. I just get enough to basically fill our boxes. But that one, I absolutely had to get one just because it was a private signing where I got to meet her in person. I
Yeah.
wish that when we did the private signing with Dave Sheridan and Felissa Rose, who played Angela in Sleepaway Camp, we did a private signing for Hatchet. Victor Crawley, I think, is the one that she's in, or is it Hatchet? I can't remember now. It's been so long. But anyway, it was Victor Crawley, pretty sure. And
Like that.
so we did a private signing with them, and I really wish I'd gotten license plates made for then. When is Crypticon out there? Crypticon is what, the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th this year of May?
It is May 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So it
That's
is
right.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Doubletree at SeaTac, Washington. And it is 3 days of horror-filled partying and fun and vendors.
It is.
And
Tis.
I'm wearing the hat.
Tis you are.
Yes, tis I am.
I'm wearing a leprechaun shirt.
I noticed that. Uh,
But yes, I wish we would have done when we did that private signing. It would have been really cool to get like Victor Crawley license plates made
oh yeah, I was looking that up. Oh, the Minneapolis one.
in
Gosh, I
September.
want to go. I want to go to that one.
Dude, I want to go to that one. You know, I've been to Minneapolis and St. Paul. They're like that's what they call the Twin Cities. It is
Minnesota.
fucking beautiful there.
Yeah.
Like I think where I was in St. Paul, and there was this like bridge that went like over I think a river, and then there was like Minneapolis, and it was just like wherever I was at staying, like the view was just really, really, really cool. I loved it, and I'd love to go back there, especially for
I've never
CryptoCon.
been.
Just looks like an excellent lineup so far. Who's on that lineup? Because I'm looking at Seattle and who's going to be here, and I was kind of curious. You know, I'm sure with CryptoCon they have like Oklahoma City, Minneapolis, Seattle, and I'm guessing a few other cities. Is it like a rotating guest list, or do we all get different guest lists? You know what I
You mean
mean?
with Crypticon?
Yeah,
The two Crypticons aren't actually affiliated, I guess.
they're
I mean,
not.
they kind of are, but not really. Like Troy owns the one in Seattle.
Oh, okay. So they kind
Um,
of operate on their own under like a blanket corporate look,
I'm
like
not exactly sure
how that
how the
goes.
naming thing happened
Sure.
or what's going on there, but yeah, they're not like in cahoots or anything like that. And like the same guests go to this one, they go to that one. It's completely separate.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Do you remember? Did you ever go to ZombieCon
No, it was before I got into the
convention
public.
scene?
Yeah, yeah. I've
Gotcha.
always been into horror, but I just never, I was always kind of, I don't know, kind of a nerd.
Well, then fucking conventions is where you were supposed to be.
I know, I know. I guess I was just too scared or shy or something. I don't
It was
know.
cool. CryptoCon, or I'm sorry, ZombieCon, I think it was 2010 or 2011. I met George Romero, Malcolm
So
McDowell, and crap. Um it's Sam Raimi's brother, Tim Raimi. Is that right? It is.
man, I wish I would have met George Romero.
Oh, dude, you know, and I have a portrait of him tattooed on my foot, and I'd literally gotten it like a month before I met him. And I'm not like a big like flip flop sandal wearer, you know. And I wore like sandals that day, and I'm like, Mr. Romero, look at this, and he was just like so blown away. He's like, "You got my fucking face on your foot," you know, like hell yeah, I do.
That's funny.
It was a
That's
really
funny.
cool like interaction meeting George
Yeah.
Romero
Well, we're gonna have to have an episode about horror tattoos and like get a bunch of our friends on here.
and show off our horror tattoos.
Yes, yes.
I'm
Because I
into
have a
that.
vengeance tattoo, which will tie in
Right.
to like next week or so. Maybe I don't know. We're gonna need to talk about our next couple of episodes.
I have a Jason Voorhees tattoo, and it's the mask with I think it has like a knife and a bone behind it, like cross, and
Cute.
it says thank God it's Friday the 13th, like TGIF 13.
Oh,
Yeah, it was one of those like $13 tattoo
where
Friday
is it
the
on
13th.
you?
I could probably show it to you.
Okay.
It's right here. Uh,
Oh, that's adorable.
yeah, little Jason action. I think
Yeah.
for my horror, I mean, I'll of course leave some out. I have, it's actually one of my favorites. I can't show it to you now because of where it's located, but I actually have a portrait of Chop Top from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2,
Uh,
and I think it was Crypticon 2011. Bill Moseley was there, and I actually got the tattoo at Crypticon. This is actually a whole funny story I'll get into because it's even funnier than this. It involves Andrew Briniarski. But that weekend I was like, hey, I want to get this Chop Top tattoo. And the guy I worked with was like, hey, let's do it at the convention. So I'm like, perfect. So we go to the convention and I'm getting the tattoo done. Well, like we get the outline done, and I went up to Mosley and I'm like, hey man, when he's done with this, will you just sign underneath it? And I want to get your signature like with it since you're here and I'm getting it here. And he's like, yeah, man, no problem. And it's like up high on my thigh. Like, you know what I mean? Like where that part is, it's like it's pretty high up there. And I got pictures of him on the convention floor, and he's like wearing rubber gloves and like signing under it. And it was
nice.
pretty funny. But the hilarious part about all that was Andrew Briniarski was there that weekend, and him and I smoked like a bunch of weed before the show started, like early that morning. And so I went over to get my tattoo, and I'm sitting there getting tattooed, pants around my ankles and my boxers hiked up. And Bernarski keeps coming behind me. He's like, hey man, you ready to go smoke another bowl? And I'm like, not right now. I'm getting tattooed. He's like, all right. Like 10 minutes later, he's back. Hey man, you ready now? And I'm like, no, can you fuck off? Like, I'll let you know when I'm done. We'll smoke. Don't worry. It was pretty fun.
That's awesome. How long ago was that? Did you say 2011?
Yeah, I think that was 2011.
Nice. Nice.
Bernarski's a huge dude. That dude's huge. I was wearing creepers, so I had like a 2.5 inch, 3 inch like sole on, and I was on my tippy toes, and I was still like this much shorter than him. And I'm 5'10". I'm not like a small dude.
Yeah, I think that's like average height or something, right?
5'10".
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of the unfortunate ones that I'm like the most average height and wear the most average shoe size. So I think the most average is 10.5, and I wear 11, but pretty
Oh,
close.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
back to Final Girls.
Oh, speaking of Final Girls, when we are talking about you mentioned Laura Park Lincoln, who was Tina Shepard. She is back in Rose Blood,
That's awesome.
which you can watch, and she's amazing.
Roseblood is available. It's Bloodlines. They're currently in production.
Right. Bloodlines 1 is out, Bloodlines 2 is in production. Or sorry.
Vengeance 1
Vengeance 1.
is
Jesus
out.
Christ, Michelle. There's only one Bloodlines.
Let me help you out. Vengeance is out. Roseblood is out. Both available on YouTube for free. Jason Brooks, who plays Jason Voorhees in both movies, will be our guest next week. Comments
Yay!
will be up, so it's a live Q&A. So watch
Yes.
both those movies on YouTube this week, so you have some background as in to who Jason Brooks is, the movies, and you can ask some questions. And then
Yeah, he'll be quizzed. There's going to be a quiz.
There's going to be a quiz. And then he's currently, you said he wrote, produced, is playing Jason again, and Vengeance 2 Bloodlines, which is
Yeah.
yet to be released. They're
Yeah.
in production now.
Yes.
So watch Vengeance, and then when boom, Vengeance 2 Bloodlines come out, you're all caught up.
Correct. Yep. And that's and that's like based off of part 6 if you're a part 6 fan. And then, Roseblood if you're a part 7 fan, you're going to love that too.
So
That's
here's
got
a
a really
question
fun
for
twist at
you.
the end, by the way.
Here's a question for you and our viewers. Would you rather be the killer or the final girl or boy? I need answers what people would prefer. Do you want to be the killer or would you rather be the final girl or boy?
Yeah. Yeah, people. What would you rather be?
I'm asking you too.
Oh, me? I'd rather I don't know. Final girl, I guess.
You just want to, you'd rather, instead of dying as the killer, you'd rather live with a lifetime of all the
PTSD.
shit you went through.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have
It
to
makes
go
a
to like
great movie.
you'd have to go to like what's it called? Like therapy.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, therapy's great for you, man.
Angela's got a good point. You could be both, like the chick in High Tension.
Oh, that was a good movie.
That is a really good movie.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even see that until last year
Here,
sometime.
I got to put this up because this is my favorite answer so far.
Yeah, nice. Nice, nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would rather be the killer.
Well, of course you would.
I think that's I think I want to go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, did you make it through the post credits to see the final clip
I did.
of him
Yes.
walking home?
Yes. Yeah.
Final
So,
boy with
they're gonna make another one. They made it so that there's gonna be another one.
Facebook user says, "Final boy with so much PTSD, I become a copycat."
That's funny.
What's that? I think there's a movie called, is it Leslie Vernon or something? No, maybe it's not that. Isn't there one where a guy does become a copycat, like horror guy?
Um, Human Centipede 2.
I love the Human Centipede series. Everyone bags on it, and I love it.
I freaking love it. I freaking
It's
love it. I
it's
haven't watched the third one yet, and I need to because Robert Lasardo's in it. But
yeah.
like the first one was like, oh, and the second one was like, ah, dude. It's like if you thought number one was bad and you haven't seen number two is gonna mess you up, dude.
Angela says it's one of her all-time favorites.
Yep. See, I love you, Angela.
Apparently, that guy will be in Minneapolis for the con. Which guy are you talking about? I'm assuming this is still Derek Winsky as Facebook user.
The one in Human Centipede 1 or Human Centipede 2
Dude,
for Robert
Human
Lasardo.
Centipede 3 is fucking hilarious.
Dude,
It's so outlandish and gross. It's so fucking funny.
oh, maybe I'll have to watch it tonight.
Yeah. Do you have? I think there's a 3 box set I want to get.
Well, my
The
birthday
Human
was a couple
Centipede
months ago.
Part 2 guy, not Lasardo.
Okay.
He's in
Lasardo,
3.
I met him a couple times. He's really cool.
I keep trying to make finger numbers with my finger, and I'm just
Eh,
realizing that I can't do it with that hand anymore. I'm like, it's 3 because I used to
whoa.
do 3 that way, but I can't do that. 2.5 now.
So Vlad got his stitches out today
I
because he had his
did.
finger removed 3 weeks ago. Um, he's got to leave the bandage on until it falls off, but he got to
But
keep
they
the
said I can
finger.
actually take a shower without having to put a bag over my hand now too.
Oh, did you go to get the finger? Have you picked it up yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Yes, it was
Uh,
Brian.
they're ready. It was well written, Brian. You're 100% right. And it was a smart one. It's definitely a movie that, like, when you're first watching it, it takes you like, it's kind of like a Fight Club, right? Like, you don't really know what's going on until like it
Until like
hits
the
you in the
middle of it.
face like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
But what were we just talking about other than Human Centipede?
High tension.
High Tension. Um I'd like I and I'll probably get roasted for saying this. I just, it's so hard for me. I like to I'm a very visual person, and I like to watch movies. And sometimes with subtitles, it like makes it like so difficult for me because I don't enjoy the visual aspect of it. And
It's
as much as
hard.
I love High Tension, like I'll watch it even with subtitles. It's just, it takes away from the movie to me. And there's another movie that just came out not that long ago, A Train to Busan, and I want to watch that really bad. But it's just
Oh,
like, I
that
know
was
visually it's so amazing that I don't want to read
yes.
the whole time, you know?
It's such a good movie. That just means you have to watch it twice.
True, true. When you kind of know what's going on, so you don't have to read as much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that. I dig them. I don't care if I have to read the subtitles. Some
Brian,
of the
I'm
best
assuming you're
movies are
talking
foreign
about
films.
High Tension and the weird M. Night Shyamalan twist in it. That was such a fun movie. Angela actually has a half sleeve of a I can't remember was it Marie or what? No, Marie was a dark-haired girl, the short blonde-haired girl with the concrete saw. Angela actually has a whole portrait down the side of her arm.
She should show it to us.
Here, there you go. Boom. I hate subtitles. I want to watch what's going on. 100% Melissa. That's where I'm at. Oh, so there's a French, Angela, what you're saying, I think what she's saying here is there's a French release that's all in French, and then there's the theatrical release which has a mix of the French and English. And actually I feel like you're right. I feel like there were several scenes that they were speaking in English, and it was a little bit easier to follow along. You could be correct there. But yeah, that was another movie, I guess. I'm trying to remember the end. Did the dark-haired girlfriend make it? Was she a final girl? Or was she slaughtered?
I don't remember.
Oh.
I'll have to watch it again.
Angela will tell us here in a second, I'm sure. So, do you have any other final girls that you like favorites? What about Sydney Prescott?
I think we covered the favorites.
I mean, a lot of people like Scream Sydney Prescott.
That's true. I forgot about her.
She's another one that's made it through I don't know, 8 movies now or some shit like that.
Is there that many?
No, I'm sure it's probably 5 or 6.
I was gonna say, dude.
I've never been the biggest of Scream fans. I think I've seen 1 and 2 and 4. But I think the one that just came out was 5. Because I remember somebody making a joke that they could have used the number 5 for the S in Scream, and they had dropped the ball because they didn't do that. I was like, that's a pretty good point.
Oh, yeah.
So it says that Brian says she did make it to the end. She was the final girl, but she had lost her mind at that point. One of the best.
Oh, yes.
I spit on your grave. Yeah.
Yes.
Are we going to talk about the original or the remake?
Well, I've seen them both. So
I own both, but I haven't watched the original in probably a few years.
It's been a few years for both of them for me. I really do need a refresher, but they were gripping.
And so I will have to ask Melissa, does that count as a final girl? Because although she was traumatized at the beginning of the movie, we see the rest of the movie as a revenge type flick. And I don't know if a final girl is a revenge type person.
Because I think of a final girl, as much as I would like to include her in that, it's you're running away and surviving a killer or killers.
Right. But if you're the final girl, basically just means you made it to the end. Angela says yes. She says yes, it's a final girl. I'm going to allow it.
Well, if we say made it to the end, then yes. Yeah.
Because I guess it doesn't matter how they became, because a lot of final girls.
Sigourney Weaver.
She
is a final girl.
Melissa and she wasn't being more vengeful, but all the final girls were attacked, physically, mentally, whatever, by the bad guy. So all of them really do become, even the I Spit on Your Grave, Sarah Butler, or not Sarah Butler, she plays the actress, but inevitably they're all final girls. I guess that does make sense. So we'll go with it. I will allow it.
It is allowed. Yes.
I need one of those judge gavels. Allowed.
I can make you a wand.
Ooh.
I can make you one with
what does he say in Harry Potter?
I don't know. You'll have to ask my kids. But I can make you a wand with cool feathers on it and grave, coffin nails, shit like that.
Oh yeah, okay, coffin nails.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
I mean, yeah. So was that wrapping us up for the night?
Well, real quick, somebody says Vicky from Terrifier as the final girl. Sure, I haven't made it through Terrifier, and I will say it's because I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah,
I just feel it lacks a lot of story. Gore for the sake of gore, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it.
Maybe we'll have to do an episode on clown movies.
Melissa cannot believe I haven't seen it all the way through. And they're about to come out with the second one too.
Yeah.
Do
Scrolling.
so we'll have to do a clown episode.
I think so. There's a million clown movies.
Yeah, we got Killer Clowns, which is Chioda Brothers are going to be at Crypticon this year. That would
Yes.
be really cool.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll have
Yes.
to do an episode on clowns. Also, Bill Skarsgård and Tim Curry as Pennywise, the
Yeah.
dancing clown.
Yes.
So
And
yeah,
then
we'll have a lot
yeah,
to
there's
do.
lots of like, yeah,
But what I
there's a
would
lot of
like to
material
bring
to
up
cover.
again next week's episode, our special guest, Jason Brooks. Angela says definitely do a clown episode.
Definitely. Will do.
Okay.
Will do.
But next
Yeah,
week's
Jason
special
Brooks
guest,
is a hometown hero. He's, an actor, director, writer right here in the Seattle area.
most importantly, he's a Jason Voorhees.
Yes. And his real name is Jason, which is super cool.
Do you know how hard it was to write that? Like Jason, who played Jason.
I know it feels a little silly at first, but it's pretty badass.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And then
yeah.
Melissa says she also seconds a clown episode.
Awesome.
Clown horror.
Ooh, should we dress up like clowns and do clown makeup for it?
What do you guys think? Should we do clown makeup?
Say yes. Say yes. I don't want to be the only one who shows up in clown makeup. You better do it too.
All right, I'll tell you what. If we get enough votes that we do clown makeup, I will come as Captain Spaulding.
All right. It's too bad that we don't live closer. I would do it for you. I do a pretty darn good Captain Spaulding makeup. I'll have to send you some pictures.
Actually gone on Halloween as Captain Spaulding, and having blue eyebrows definitely helps with becoming Captain Spaulding.
Yeah, certainly
so
does.
yeah. So
okay.
Angela says she wants to make me pretty.
Do it. Do it.
I don't know how many people would say that Captain Spaulding's pretty. But yeah, we'll go for it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
do it.
I mean, I guess Divine really is not a clown, but I was like, I could do Divine makeup, but it's not really a clown. I think I'll do Captain Spaulding.
Okay.
So
do that.
This week, next Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're gonna have a very special guest, Jason Brooks, who plays Jason Voorhees, and Friday the 13th Vengeance, Roseblood, a Friday the 13th fan film, and now soon to be released, Vengeance 2, Bloodlines.
Correct.
Yeah.
I know it's a mouthful. It's a mouthful.
I mean, it's a lot of the same names and titles.
Yeah, there's a lot of the same people on the crew too, which is kind of cool. And everybody's most of them are pretty local. I got to work on both sets, so I feel really, really lucky and make friends with a lot of really cool people.
And that's actually one of the things I'm excited for to talk to you and him about next week is, I mean, you got to hang out with one of the Ramones.
I did.
Got to hang out with Paul Taylor, who played Pinhead in one of the Hellraisers.
Yes.
I mean, so hearing you guys talk about your experiences on set, filming those movies and, the people you got to meet and the things you guys got to do, I think will be the most interesting part of next week's episode. And then obviously, being able to talk to somebody involved with making those movies who's actually donned the mask. You know what I mean? Like I think it's going to be a really cool episode.
Yeah, it'll be really fun.
Tunes in.
Yeah. And, I was just going to say, everybody needs to tune in.
Tell your friends. Spread the word like herpes.
There you go.
And until next week, I'm your host, Vlad the Rad, with my co-host, Michelle of the Dead, on CC6.6 AM.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.